It's already disappeared.
Nothing lives
He's
here.
gone. You were
He's
too
gone.
slow.
How could you?
Keep
How
going.
could you?
Keep going. Ignore the pain.
I told you it was he tricked you. I told you.
Where are you going?
See,
There's nothing to follow.
come on. There it is.
It's Dylan.
Go towards him. Quick, go, run. Come on,
Before he
quick.
disappears, go, go, go.
Before she first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father's in-bell made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains. That was her world. Like this one. Barren and lonely.
You can't do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Your body is falling apart. You're strong. You're getting stronger.
Senua, there will be times that you will feel alone and exhausted, like a strange little fish swimming against the tides of the big ocean. But have the faith to let go and let the tide carry you away. Because the whole ocean is your home. It does not ask you to swim against it.
There he was, the lone figure of a boy.
He's there, under the tree.
Swordplay under the shade of a tree. She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing, and the world danced with him. The gloom lifted, and for the first time in years she felt a ray of hope.
He's there, under the tree. I can see him. You have to keep Dillian going.
The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day, Odin comes and thrusts a sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can release it. Many try, but the sword only comes out at Sigmund's touch. His brother-in-law, King Siggeir, wants it, but Sigmund refuses him, so King Siggeir plots revenge. He invites Sigmund and his brothers to a feast, but when they arrive, they are met with an army, not a warm welcome. King Siggeir captures Sigmund and his brothers, steals his coveted sword, and readies them for execution. Death for Sigmund and his brothers seems certain. But the king's wife is Sigmund's sister, and she begs for mercy and implores the king to chain them up instead. He agrees. Not for mercy, though, but because he plans an even more cruel and lingering death. Chained to a tree in the forest that night, a she-wolf comes and devours one of Sigmund's brothers. She returns, ravenous, night after night, until only Sigmund is left. The next day, Sigmund's sister sends a servant with honey to smear on Sigmund's face. But to what end? Well, that night, when the she-wolf appears again, you'll never guess what happens. As the she-wolf licks the sweet honey from Sigmund's face, he bites the wolf's tongue. The she-wolf pulls away, but Sigmund holds on. The chains break, and he is free. After his escape, Sigmund lives like us, hidden in the forest. His enemy, King Siggeir, believing him dead, as his sister plots revenge. And for vengeance to succeed, even the great Sigmund needs him. So she sends her sons to him. But their blood is weak and corrupted, and they're put to death by Sigmund. So his sister hatches a new plan, one that is cold of heart and pure of blood. Sigmund's sister trades shapes with a sorceress, and in disguise, she lies with her own brother. She gives birth to a son named Sinfjotli. After a time, she sends him to the forest to Sigmund. He tests the boy, and finds him strong and fearless. And so they go to take their vengeance on King Siggeir. Luck is not on their side. They're captured, and Siggeir has them buried alive.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same. See the world through eyes anew and dance with it, just like he does.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one?
Well, I watched you, and...
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
Me?
I'm Dillian. I'm here for the warrior trials. Just come and watch. And bring your sword.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who's supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it. And darkness becomes a part of who you are.
You killed him.
But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were. That there's nothing to go back to at all.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me. I can still feel him.
Whatever's left of him, they will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here!
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No!
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up! Dillian? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
Can you see him?
You want to believe it.
Is he
It's
there?
not real.
Is he there?
You're alone in these mountains.
Is that Dillian?
Nothing lives here.
You won't survive.
met him by the tree.
She met him by the tree.
Maybe it's a sign, the tree.
What's he trying to tell you?
He's waiting for you by the tree.
As Sigmund and Sinfjotli are being buried alive, Sigmund's sister throws an armful of straw into the grave mound. Hidden in the straw is Sigmund's sword, the gift of Odin. They cut their way out of the grave mound and set fire to Siggeir's hole. The king burns to death. Sigmund calls to his sister to come out so that she may live and be honored. She does come out, but only to tell him the truth. That she had slept with him, her brother, to beget a strong avenger. I am not fit to live, she says, and walks back into the fire. Strike vengeance from your heart, Senua, as there is always a heavy price to pay. And here is the end of Sigmund's story. He was a fierce and great warrior who fought many battles. But one day, an old man came onto the battlefield. Although shadowed by a hood, Sigmund saw that he only had one eye. The man raised his spear, and Sigmund struck at it with his sword, but the sword shattered into pieces. Sigmund then knew that this was Odin, and thus that victory could not be his. He bowed his head and accepted his end. Dying, he tells his wife that she is with child, and that her son will one day make a great weapon out of the fragments of his sword. The sword named Gram.
Imagine a sword that can slay gods. Its name is Gram. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gram by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the Tree of Death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard.
Go to the shards.
What's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you.
Find it.
The metal. The runes.
You need that sword.
Go to the shard.
Find the shards.
closer.
What can you see?
Go to it. It's not safe.
Don't go near it.
Move closer. Go. Come on. What can you
A
see?
king in the north forced the dwarves to make a sword that would never fail and never rust, and that would slice through iron and stone and bring victory to its bearer. But the angry dwarves cursed it. It would be the death of a man every time it was drawn, and it would be the death of the king. Let me tell you about the sword Tyrving.
I don't recognize this place.
Where are we? Where is she? It feels wrong.
Where are we now? Burial mound. So strange that we go to such lengths to bury death. Something so very ordinary, inevitable. It's as if we conspire to hide death, because we have no answer for it. But when it comes and forces itself onto our friends or loved ones, then comes the reckoning.
Feel the dead in the air. You can feel the dead. Turn back. Nobody bring a hail. It's not safe. Nobody do something so dangerous. It can't be dangerous.
Senua, you remind me of a story that the Northmen tell about a young woman warrior. Her name is Herver, the daughter of a berserker, born after he was killed. She's a wild, willful child who teaches herself to fight with weapons. When she learns where her father is buried, her only desire is to reclaim the treasure buried with him, but above all, the sword, Tyrving.
Don't go in there.
Go in. You have to go in.
Take the torch.
It's too dark. Take it. This will help you.
Careful.
You have to be able to see.
Who's there? Dillian, I'm here. I'm here for the trials. Like when we first met, remember?
I'll find him.
What's that? Did you hear that? Nothing. Was that voices? Is that his voice or the voice of the dead? Not Dillian.
Dillian's calling to you. Can you
Where is
hear
he?
him?
Where is he?
He sounds like he's getting further away.
Have you lost him?
You're going the wrong way.
Are you lost and have you lost him?
Where are you? Turn left.
Turn right.
Over this way.
What was that?
This way. Follow this way.
Herver disguises herself as a man to join a band of warriors, and soon becomes their leader. When they come to the island where her father is buried, her men do not want to go ashore. They say that evil haunts the island, and that it is a worse place by day than other places are by night. Fearless, she lands alone. There are many grave mounds, and all of them have ghostly flames burning over them. She comes to the grave mound of her father after passing through these ghostly fires, as though they were mist. The flames I passed through were real enough. Damn the Northmen to hell.
Don't touch the walls.
You don't know what they might do.
Turn back.
She has to keep going.
It's not safe here.
She has to keep going.
If you go down there, no one can save you.
It's too scary.
I can hear him.
Within the burial mound, Hervor calls on her father to wake from death and bring her his sword. She says that it is not seemly for the dead in their grave mounds to bear valuable weapons. Her father answers with words of warning. You go to your doom. Baleful runes surround you. You have gone mad. You have lost your mind. Your thoughts are confused. It is dangerous to wake the dead. Like I said, she reminds me of you.
The voice is getting louder.
Listen, Dillian. Listen, listen, listen. It's him. Listen.
It's getting louder.
There he is.
You're getting closer.
Keep going.
Senua, follow the voice.
You're nearly there.
Dillian's voice.
It's him. He's going to save you.
Find the voice.
Find him.
It's not him. It's not him.
We told you. We told you it was a trick.
That voice doesn't sound like Dillian anymore.
What's happening? It's not him, it can't be.
What's that sound? The voice is changing.
What? That's not Dillian.
That doesn't sound like Dillian.
It sounds like something more dangerous.
Something is here. In the labyrinth.
Hervor ignores her father's warnings. The grave mound opens, and it seems to be full of fire. Again, Hervor demands her inheritance. But her father warns her that the sword is cursed and would be the bane of her family. But he relents and brings her the sword. She leaves the island with it. But the curse holds true, and death would follow in the years to come. And so, Senua, the misdeeds of a father have cursed his daughter.
Find another way. It's not working. You have to use your mind. Where can you go? You're failing. Find another way. Think. Focus. Use your mind. Where's he gone? He's disappeared. You let him slip through your fingers once again. Think clearly. You have to find another way. There has to be another way. Don't recognize it. Don't doubt yourself. You'll never find it. She doesn't recognize it. Yes, you do. You know where you are. She doesn't. Listen for his voice. Listen. Dillian. Where are you? Listen for his voice. Dillian. She can't be.
It's not Dillian. Dillian wants me to face my fears. Father? I'm leaving. I've decided. I think it will be good for me.
It's the darkness. It's speaking through you.
No, Dad, it's me. I think I can beat it. In my own way.
I can see the darkness in your eyes, child.
I met a boy.
Boy?
The chieftain's son.
No.
He said he could help me.
It's a trick.
He said I could be normal.
Normal?
Yes.
No boy is going to save you. No one can. When they see the rot growing inside you,
No!
they will turn their back on you. The gods can only fix you through my hand. You're going nowhere.
No.
You will not defy the gods! Come, child, take my hand. Come. Senua.
I am leaving!
You cannot escape the darkness. Your curse will make everyone suffer. You will have blood on your hands!
It's done. You did it, but there's more. Going. There's more. You're tired. You have to keep going. There's still more. There's always more to do. It's not going to be easy. Can you do another one? It's too much. Have you got the energy? She hasn't got the energy. No. Too much to do.
Say that their Allfather, Odin, gave his eye in exchange for a drink from Mimir's well, the Well of Wisdom. In blindness there can be wisdom. Only by giving can you receive in return. For this reason, I give my life and pass on my stories of the Northmen to you, Senua.
Where am I? I can't see. Who's there?
Can you hear me?
Dillian.
I'm right here. Can't you see me?
No. Help me.
Breathe slow.
It's the darkness.
Stay still. Empty your thoughts. Tell me what you feel.
The breeze.
Good. Then there is a way out.
I can't tell where it comes from.
Yes, you can.
The others. The voices. They've gone.
I'm still here.
It's so quiet. So dark.
It's okay. Listen to your own breath. Feel it rise and fall. Good. Be aware of everything you hear and feel. Let your senses guide you.
think I'm somewhere else now. The breeze has gone.
Use all of your senses. Let the world speak to you. What do you hear?
I hear water.
Good.
Reach the water.
Good. That's your way out. Follow it upstream.
I'm so sorry. I thought I left this all behind.
Don't be sorry. It's not your fault.
He was right. It's inside of me. It won't let me go.
Senna, my father, he taught me the hardest battles are fought in the mind, not the sword. You're no coward. Prove that to me in the warrior trial. This is just another battle. You can beat it.
This isn't your bit. You don't have to help me.
I want to. Besides, you are going to be a great warrior. You need people like you.
I'll do my best.
I know what you're thinking. He's not really here. It seems there's no escaping the past in this place. So she's forced to relive it. To what end?
There is a house. I don't know what's inside.
Don't be afraid.
There's something in here.
Do you see it?
No.
Then it cannot see you. Quietly move past it, one step at a time.
It's not following me.
Leave it behind. Keep moving forwards.
think I'm in a house. It stinks. Of death.
The darkness is testing you. You are in control.
A well. There's a well.
Don't turn back. You're getting close.
Delia. Help me.
Come to me, son.
Delia. Is that you? I can see a light.
Yes. I can see you too.
She could spend hours, days even, trapped within herself, in the dark.
You see me?
Yes.
Your eyes were open, but you were gone.
And when it finally let her go, she could be anywhere, with no memory of how she got there.
When it comes for me, I have no power over it.
But here, for the first time, someone was there to help.
But I heard your voice. You brought me back.
You found your own way back. All you needed was a little help. A little hope.
And if you're wrong, what if this is the end? It's just a trick. It's just a pointless test. You've been fooled before. You could be fooled again. You're being tested. You don't know. It's just their game for you. You never know which way it's going to go.
I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin. He was beautiful, good and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
we stay? Let's stay.
The bridge.
It's not broken.
It's fixed.
What happened?
The bridge is fixed.
Let's cross it.
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Baldur. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Baldur dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Baldur's mother makes everything in the world, fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her son. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Baldur's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
You can feel it. You need the runes to fight Dillion. You need Dillion. He's waiting for you.
He always said
He's close.
Open the gate. She can't.
Open the gate. It's locked. Try harder.
She can't. Open the gate. She can't. She can't. She will. She'll find out she wants.
Go through it. It's dangerous.
Follow it.
What's behind the gate?
Where will it take you?
It's not safe. Dillion, there he is. What are you waiting for?
Quick, find a way.
Find him.
Go through him.
Before he disappears.
Dillion, don't lose him.
Way too many times.
Always let him disappear.
Dillion, there he is.
Quick.
Where is he?
Where's he gone?
We're in the wrong world.
He's not here.
She's in the wrong world.
Could she trust in this world?
He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world. The dark world.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillion taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of colour stretching away from the gloom. And Senna explored new paths into the unknown.
The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Baldur's mother, is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe? I did not ask the mistletoe, Baldur's mother confesses. I thought it was too young. Oh dear.
Do you remember him whispering in your ear? Do you remember the way he stroked your hair?
You've got it.
Do you remember the way he felt? Why isn't he here?
He's gone.
He's in the dark world.
He's gone to the dark world.
You're in the wrong world.
He's in the other world.
The dark world.
Without you.
Do you remember the way he stroked your hair? Do you remember the way he felt? Perhaps Dillian's the only reason she's still alive.
Nobody will love her now.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the thing she loves. She destroys them.
Him with your love because he believed in you. Do you remember the smell of his neck? You can't go up there.
You can't go up there.
Not in this world.
No, not in this world. You can't.
What does it feel like to be in love? The curse cannot be undone.
He led you astray.
You should have listened to your father when you had the chance.
Why didn't you listen to him?
His love has tortured you, and it tortures them.
You have no choice.
There he is. Where are you taking
He's
me?
up there. He's up there.
Look what happens to
How do you get up? There's a way. There is a way up there.
Find the way.
She can do it. You're nearly there. Just find the way.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Huth says, "I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon." Loki replies, "Here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands." And Huth throws the mistletoe at Balder. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Balder is killed. And for this, Huth is slain.
She should have listened. Why didn't she listen to her father? She thought she could defy them.
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Curse. And now the darkness is swallowing you both.
Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love. But the shadow of darkness never let her go. She was caught between two worlds. That of Zinbel and her past. And Dillian. Future. Two realities tearing at her soul.
Wasting your time.
You have no time for this. Speed up.
These rooms, it's all part of their game.
They've sacred trials to distract you.
They've set you up, and now they're going to watch you fall.
What if these trials mean nothing? Your curse is claimed to
Laughing
Dillian.
at you. What if they take you no closer to what they didn't know? He was coming to you. You're letting this get in the way.
What if they are just to tire you out, to make you weak before the battle?
He didn't believe that she was cursed.
He saved you when everyone else turned their backs.
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Balder return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Balder stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Balder, weep him out of hell. And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they find in a cave. Balder was never my friend, she says. Let Hell keep what she has.
Believe in
The Northmen say that the giantess must have been Loki in disguise.
He saw who she could be. He saw who she really was. He saw the warrior within.
Do you know? Was it worth it? You're still alive and Dillian's dead. He doesn't deserve to be dead. How does that make you feel? What it was to touch him. What if this is pointless? What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work? You keep seeing runes. You see runes.
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldur's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down and turned these bonds to iron and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death, then so must we.
He's the reason she keeps fighting. He was kind to her. Nothing. Special. Waste of time. What if the gods are laughing? Messing with her. It wouldn't be once. First time.
Dillian never much cared for the underworld, and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillian's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes, and slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
Be quick. Be quick. Careful. Don't breathe. It's not safe.
You're going to fall. Careful.
No, she's not. She's not going to fall. She's strong. She's steady. She can do it. You can do it, Sam.
It's your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. You've lost him. Just gone to the water. He's drowned.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you paid for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I know.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry.
Killing you would be too easy.
They're taking your memories to torture you.
They're taking them from the inside.
You're disappearing one memory at a time. Every time you remember, it disappears.
They're going to take everything.
They're going to take everything you have. The memories of ghosts. They belong to the gods, not to you. They're eating you from the inside. They want to kill your soul.
They want to crush it.
They want your body. They want your soul. They want your mind, and they're going to take it. The memories were yours, but they're the gods now.
Nothing is yours.
I saw once a plague strike northern lands of ice. It was so terrible that not the oldest man among us could remember the like. Hundreds died. The sickness took nearly every person younger than 40, and many older. And where dying mothers gave birth, the marks of the plague were on the babes as they came out of the womb.
Where are we? I don't like it. This place feels...
What is this place?
This place feels... It's... creepy. It feels wrong.
It feels strange. Where is it?
Where are we? Turn back.
This is wrong. This has to be wrong.
This place stinks.
It's disgusting.
It smells like death.
I can't breathe.
Can you smell the death?
It's...
There he is.
There he is.
The light.
Go towards it.
He's in the house. He's
Find
going in.
He's disappearing.
Follow him.
Don't let him disappear.
The air. Where's it gone?
Keep going.
How do you find it? It's just a trial.
It's just another test.
You just have to solve it.
It's a test. Like the old warrior trials. Dillian will help me.
You can almost see him.
taste it. Do you smell it? No. Don't worry. Not everyone can. It was a warm spring day when she went to the river with Dillian and the others. But the water... She could taste the rot. But no one else could. She knew something was wrong. Something sinister. She begged them to leave, but they just laughed at her. But soon enough, as the bodies piled up, no one was laughing. And they knew that she was not like that.
It's broken. Fix it. You have to fix it. How are you going to fix it?
You can't get to the house until the bridge is fixed.
You must. You have to get to the house. You have to find... Now you have to find him.
Quick, get to the house. Get to the house and finish this trial.
It doesn't finish until you get to the house.
Before he disappears, Senua.
You have to get in.
The Northmen speak of a death moon, a light shaped like a half moon that appears inside a house and goes around the walls. I once saw the death moon appear at a farm, and first the shepherd died, then a guest died, and then the farm hands, and then the farmer and 6 of his men drowned at sea. But that is not the end of it, because the dead return to haunt the living. If you see the death moon, then beware, because there will be death in that house.
That's it.
You did it. She didn't.
It's not done yet. Just a small piece of the puzzle. You found a way
To climb the tower.
the ladder.
Quick. What now?
You can see it, aligned to the truth. The bridge.
She did it.
You fixed the bridge.
She fixed it.
You passed the trial, get to the house.
You succeeded.
Senua! Come to me! Where are you?
I'm here! I'm right here!
Are you in there? Come out if you are.
Where is he? Find him.
You have to find him.
There was a Northman called Grettir. Big, red-haired, immensely strong. But he was afraid of the dark. It happened one night that an undead creature came to his house to drag him outside into darkness and kill him. He resisted with every ounce of his strength. He clung to the doorframe, but it gave way, and they spilled out of the house, and the monster fell back, and the moon shone down on its ghastly face. Grettir, terrified, cuts off its head, but is cursed forever. From that moment on, wherever he was, he would see those hideous eyes staring back at him. Sometimes we allow our own fear to haunt us to our grave.
What's that sound?
They're coming for me!
There's too much.
Someone's calling you. Someone's calling you.
What's that voice?
You can hear Dillian. It's Dillian. Go to him.
Dillian?
Go to him. He's trying to save you. There it is.
It's close. It's close. Move away. Don't let it see you.
It is.
Go towards it.
Run. Find
Focus.
it.
Focus. Run. Run now. Still safe
Who
here.
are you? Set behind the scene. Don't get lost. You'll start to burn. Where's your soul?
There it is. Move away.
Yourself together. You can't.
This is taking too long. Can you hear him?
You're lost. You have to find them.
You're dying.
You're lost.
Where are they? This is what death feels like. What shall I do?
The light. Go towards it. Find us. Focus. Look. Find one more. One it does shake.
It's close. It's close. Move away.
Someone move away. Feel it.
You'll die. Run. Run now.
Here's the door.
Not safe here. Run.
Find the gate.
Get out. Run.
Don't let him see you.
Don't let it see you. It's coming. Move
Where's
away.
your soul?
You're lost again.
What is that creature? You can't defend yourself.
Sit still and find me. Where are you? You're dying.
You're lost.
You're dying. This is what death feels like.
Samuel! What happened?
They're blaming me for the plague. They say that I'm cursed. What if they're right?
How would they know such a thing? Are they gods? None of us are. They're just people. Good people, but they're scared. They're afraid of what they can't see. Like children scared of the dark. They make up stories to fill the void. That doesn't make them true.
What if my father was right?
You have to step out of this darkness. Let them see who you really are, like I am. You're not a monster.
Without you, this darkness has made me a monster.
You've done it. You did it. The warrior trials. You need it. Go get the sword. You have to.
with grammar reforged, you will have Odin's blessing to walk, a goddess, into the halls of Helheim and challenge Hela as an equal.
So Dillion was helping me. And the sword will lead me to him. Like when we first met. Dillion gave her the strength to pass the warrior trials, and she saw a way out. To leave her past behind and become a warrior in Dillion's clan.
The sword is tainted by the gods of darkness. Leave it.
No. He left it here. He wants me to take it.
You will pay a price for this.
But years later, with Zinbel's parting words still haunting her, the darkness came back with a vengeance. Plague. Dillion? Everyone suffered.
My father was not supposed to die like this.
Do you see it clearly now, Senua? The suffering you've caused.
This is your fault. You brought this plague to us. You have blood on your hands.
They're coming for you now.
They're coming.
They're coming to get you.
Hold your heavy strike. Hold it. Hold the heavy strike. Hold it. Hold it. Hold your heavy strike. Unleash the sword.
She can't remember. She can't focus. The mirror.
He's come this far. He's down. Finish it. Finish it. Strike it.
You're stronger than him.
Focus.
Focus now.
You can do this.
Focus.
Focus now.
Quickly get up.
Focus.
Focus this. Focus.
There's nowhere to run to.
In the sea of corpses, the corpse waved through itself over the ones I loved. The ship broke up under them. The ship that had sailed from a land of shining fields. Their memorial stone is sacred. Come not here in the sun. Come not with a sword. Come not crying over a naked corpse. Come not with disturbed mind.
And she'll be a